A very good Tuesday evening to you, and thanks for joining us on Up North Live Unscripted on another snowy evening. This time, lake effect snow across much of northern Michigan, but based on one camera that I'm looking at right now in Joe's Weather Center, it looks like it may be coming to an end. Is that true, Joe?
I hope so.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, many of you probably do out there too. Yeah. Lake effect snow will end tonight.
Okay.
In fact, it's interesting, in probably 12 hours from now, the sun will be coming up and we'll probably see the sun because we're going to get rid of the clouds too, I think, later tonight. So a couple days upcoming here, nice weather, Maya. And then after that, messy. Sometimes we get a little snow coming in or a little rain, but this is a little more impactful system for the weekend. So we'll have more on that coming up a little later.
All right, thanks so much, Joe. As always, we will touch base with him once again after our first commercial break. But tonight, a new DNR research vessel designed for a specific mission on the Great Lakes is being built right now here in northern Michigan. And Up North Live Daniel Zivian has an exclusive look at the process inside the Moran Iron Works.
Tucked in its own corner of the sprawling warehouse, the 66-foot Steelhead 2 has reached her first benchmark, the laying of the keel, or completion of the backbone.
We're about a month into the build right now.
Wait, you did all that in a month?
Yep.
Jim Lalone says this is his 9th complete vessel build at Moran.
It's going to take probably about a month or so to weld out, and then it'll be shipped outside for sandblasting and brought back in for putting the hull plate on, and then finish weld out, flip it over, get the cabin and pilot house put on there after that.
We have a year to complete the vessel, which I am totally on board with that, and we can easily do that. But that year is going to put us into February of 2026. It won't launch until after the ice is out in April or maybe even May, depending on the year. So they'll probably, my crew thinks they might have an extra few months. I think that they're going to get done within the 12 months.
Moran says the Steelhead will come equipped with a lab, netting, and solar panels, letting the DNR research the health of the Great Lakes without going ashore. Ideally, the boat would outlast the original Steelhead built in 1968.
There are a lot of things that we're going to do to make that a 100-year vessel, way more than a 50-year vessel. So you'll see this floating on the Great Lakes for more than a lifetime. It's genuinely one of those collaborative projects. They're very excited about that being built here in Michigan.
In Onaway, Daniel Zivian, Up North Live News.
And we'll be sure to bring you an update once that vessel is complete. Okay, multiple northern Michigan counties are actually in a drought right now. And with wildfire season quickly approaching, first responders are advising how you can do your part to prevent a wildfire. Our Allie Baxter talked with a local fire chief to share some tips.
When those three come together, bad things happen.
Those three things: heat, fuel, and oxygen. It's a deadly triangle, Frankfort Fire Chief Mike Cederholm says is the source for an ignition.
Still how dry it is. I mean, you can see the leaves and the grass is, even though the snow is some snow there, there's still fluff in there where plenty of fuel source. It's there.
Looks can be deceiving. The snow on the ground may lead you to believe it's too wet for a fire to happen. But in reality, a portion of northern lower Michigan is experiencing different levels of drought. Benzie County is currently experiencing a severe drought.
A brush, you know, they'll probably be looking to start that on fire and burn that, because it's all cut up.
As Chief Cederholm explains, seasonal and year-round residents alike look to start burning as much of these dead leaves and trees as they can. But in the rush to clean the property, most aren't taking precautions to minimize the chance of a brush fire getting out of control.
I want my weekend free. I'm just going to pile it up in a big heap, and I'm going to set it on fire, and then I'll be done, and then I'll have the rest of the weekend to enjoy. Not a good choice. Do little piles because they're manageable.
As long as the community does their part, Chief Cederholm says his department is doing theirs too by training for worst-case scenario situations.
Looks like a golf cart path, but it's a road. Could you imagine a wildfire breaking out in here? Because all this is just loaded with fuel. It's fully engaged, and if somebody isn't careful, and this caught fire, this could be a disaster.
So to prevent disaster, Chief Cedarholm says education is key because he wants these fires eliminated.
You know, I'll go work at McDonald's. I'll work somewhere else. And if I put if I put fires out of business, that's great. It's a great day.
That was Allie Baxter reporting, and the fire chief says that people tend to call the station to ask if it is okay to burn or if they need permission to burn. And he advises to check with your local ordinances first because some townships and villages don't allow any kind of burning. Okay, moving on to another story. Sometimes life just seems to put the right people together at the exact time, and when that happens, usually something pretty amazing follows. A group of Northern Michigan women is proof of that. After experiencing loss, they have found a way over the past 5 years to start conversations and fight the stigma of substance use disorder, one colored pencil stroke at a time. Mark Shillette has their story.
You grab onto every opportunity that comes your way to make a difference.
And sometimes those opportunities come at an unexpected time and in the form of beautiful poster-sized coloring pages.
This beautiful art needed to be shared.
See, years ago, Margaret's sister-in-law, the artist Susan Alexander, created 5,000 coloring posters after the substance use death of her daughter. Fast forward, and Susan was moving away. The posters would stay in the basement beneath the ping pong table without a purpose until
We met each other through the Labyrinth Walk, which honors people who have passed from substance use disorders, and they were collecting pop bottles at the time to get 10 cents a bottle, and I said, I have something else that might sell into the community could we work together on this? And this is how the four of us got together, Diane, Lauren, Nancy, and myself.
What they did was take those coloring posters featuring images from around the area and turn them into a fundraiser for local addiction and treatment efforts.
So we raised just a little over $30,000 selling $8 posters.
The money raised, $8 at a time, changed and saved lives.
We purchased hundreds of Nalox boxes that were distributed to several locations within the community. Second phase, we helped Phoenix House, which is addiction treatment services, women's residential for women and children.
When folks would see the posters for sale, questions were inevitably asked. Conversations would follow, and issues that are often hidden weren't anymore.
So reducing stigma helps save lives. It's a disease like any other, and we have to talk about it so that people get the help that they need.
The group of women brought together through loss and concerns became a force of change, thanks to their resolve and these posters begging for color and completion.
I'm amazed, again, that four people who didn't know each other have done so well together, and we've obviously developed a bond together.
But time has come for the remaining 1,500 posters to find a new home.
It's truly bittersweet. It really is very bittersweet for me.
They're offering the unfinished art up for someone else to step up and take over the mission.
Realizing that we can pass this off to somebody else to take a new role in there and hopefully raise additional awareness, reach new people, it's very exciting.
A mother's loss led to the creation of these. A chance encounter of these women catapulted those coloring pages into a tool of change for the community. And now, a new unwritten chapter for the 1,500 uncolored posters awaits. For someone who already knows,
You grab onto every opportunity that comes your way to make a difference.
That was Mark Shillette reporting. And before we take a commercial break, we have a story to share with you that has gotten a lot of attention around Grand Traverse County recently. So Meijer is requesting a special use site plan to build a new store on US 31 in Blair Township in Grand Traverse County. You are looking at video of the site right now. That is according to the agenda for a special meeting next week of the Blair Township Planning Commission. According to the agenda, the plan includes a drive-through pharmacy, garden center, and gas station. That special meeting is scheduled for next Tuesday at 6 o'clock. Now, this is a story that our Cody Bear has been working on all day. Let's bring him in live now. And I know, Cody, earlier you were struggling to hear back from Blair Township and from anyone with Meijer. Any updates on that?
Yes, we did get a statement back from Meyer, and Meyer did say that they currently have a contract to purchase that site. So now they're going through those next steps that you mentioned with the planning commission and the special land use. But they do have a contract written up, so that is where they're at right now. So it is moving forward.
And as I mentioned, this is a topic, a story that's been getting a lot of attention across Grand Traverse County. A lot of people are either very excited about having another Meyer. This would be the third Meyer in Grand Traverse County. Others are maybe not as excited. I know you also spent some time today talking with different businesses and people. What are the reactions that you've been hearing?
Yeah, absolutely. So I talked to both Restored Treasures, which is a thrift shop, and I talked to members of the community, and the reaction's pretty mixed, which I guess you could expect. Restored Treasures, they were actually very excited about the potential of a Meyer coming because they know and they've seen with the other Meyers around that with a Meyer will come people and shoppers. And they said, sometimes they get a little stuck and a little lost, and people don't really see them on 31. And now, with more people coming and taking that road because they're right across the street from where the Meyer would be, they're excited by the potential opportunity of course, tons of shoppers being there for the Meyer, and then right across the street, there they are. Some of the community, it was also mixed. Some people were very excited about the opportunity, of course, to shop at a Meyer. That's a little closer for them. But for some others, they didn't quite understand the need for it since there are two close and they're worried about congestion. That road is pretty busy, and there's a stoplight, but there's some stop signs where you have to make some really tough lefts. When I was driving out there, there was a stop sign and it's a tough left to make. So they're worried about congestion around that area. But a lot of people are still excited about the opportunity to shop there. And people, this was a funny thing when I was talking to people. Some people who live closer to the current Myers, very excited about another one because it'll take some of the shoppers that drive those 10 minutes to go to that Meyer and they'll go to a closer one. So they're hoping maybe there's less crowds at the one that they go to.
Yeah, that makes sense. I know I go to the one right there on Division Street, kind of by the Walgreens in Traverse City, and every time I go there, no matter what day of the week it is, what time of the day it is always insanely busy. And so I know this would take some people away from that Meyer and put them in a different Meyer. But then, of course, you also have to think of, okay, is this going to impact other local businesses, because now are people going to be more willing to shop at Meyer instead of a local grocery store or a local thrift store? But it's nice to hear that that store that you talked to, they had a more optimistic outlook on this. They are excited and hopeful that this could actually bring more business to their store. So Cody, oh no, I think we just lost Cody. Well, he will have much more on that tonight on Up North Live News at 11. He's going to put together an entire story with all the reaction that he has heard today about the potential to bring a third Meyer to Grand Traverse County. And of course, there is still a long process before this becomes official. And it looks like this process will begin again next Tuesday at a special meeting for the Blair Township Planning Commission. So what are your thoughts on bringing more big box stores to your community? That is what we want to know with our question of the day today. Do you support more big box stores coming to your community? Scan that QR code on your screen right now. That will take you to our website where you can vote. And it is pretty mixed. As of right now, 55% of people say no, they don't support it. 45% say yes. And on our Facebook page, we have some comments of people explaining why they voted yes or no. So we will look at some of those comments and updated results towards the end of the show. But straight ahead, after this commercial break, we are going to touch base once again with Chief Meteorologist Joe Charlevoix. He mentioned that we could have some sunshine in the forecast, but do we have any more snow in the forecast for the rest of the week? He'll let us know in a couple minutes.
I'm Jada Johnson from Big Boys TV, and the Fish and Game Report is sponsored by Johnson's Propane.
Well, it sounds like that lake effect snow that some of us have been seeing today is going to be coming to an end tonight. And sounds like we will have some sunshine in our forecast for our Wednesday. I don't know about you, but it sounds pretty great to me. After a few snowy days, I think we could all use a little sunshine, right, Joe?
I don't care if it's 10 below, if the sun's out. Well, I do care if it's 10 below, but if the sun's out, everybody seems to be in a better mood, right?
Definitely.
Yeah, and we'll get that tomorrow. Well, same thing on Thursday, and then we'll deal with what's coming in for the weekend after that. Let's start off. I'll look outside of our studios. Kind of cloudy still, and if you look way off in the distance, you're looking northeast here of Traverse City. That's Grand Traverse Bay there in the distance. You can still see way out there a little bit of snow falling, a little bit of lake effect snow in the distance still this evening, but that is going to come to a pretty quick end. Temperatures, here they are, 20s and 30s. We should be in the upper 30s or low to mid 40s this time of the year, so we're a little below that. Newberry, you're sitting at 26 currently. If you're tuned in there in Sheboygan, 28. Same at Pellston and Drummond Island, all at 28 degrees. Rogers City, too, in that group. Traverse City, south through Ludington, generally low and mid 30s down there. And as we take a look at our sunshine forecast, yeah, we'll take that tomorrow. Same thing on Thursday. Partly to mostly sunny sky Wednesday, Thursday partly cloudy. And then you see what happens Friday into the weekend. We get back to overcast skies as our next system comes in, and then some sunshine returning on Monday, early next week. There's the lake effect snow right now. As we take a look at radar, and kind of zoom in here, you can see some of these. I'll go just the last hour. Yeah, and we'll animate this out. You can see some of the lighter snow showers. It looks like right now, though, the back edge of this is sort of kind of from a Petoskey to Houghton Lake line, where the darker shades of purple are. Those are some beefier snow showers. But the trend tonight is for this to come to an end. And here's what that looks like on Stormcast. Snow showers right now. And then, well, you see by morning, things winding down, some sunshine tomorrow. So I think you wake up tomorrow, especially if you're an early riser, the sun will be up, quiet, just a few clouds during the afternoon, a nice day. We do have a front coming in Thursday right there. And I do think Thursday you could see a brief rain or snow shower, but most areas dry, quiet Thursday afternoon, and then we cloud over Friday ahead of our next system. And that's going to be a messy one. Kind of looks like this. Some mixed precipitation, freezing rain and sleet north, rain south. Same story on Saturday into Sunday, perhaps some heavy snow across parts of the UP before that all heads out of here on Monday. So a quick look at the weekend. Yeah, there it is. Snow, sleet, freezing rain, and rain, 35 to 48 Saturday. And then Sunday, perhaps some heavy snow north and a mix elsewhere, 35 to 45. A lot of folks will be coming back from spring break. A lot of folks do travel this week. Keep an eye on the forecast, not the best. And there is our extended forecast. So right over the weekends when we get the bad weather, but then Monday, Tuesday, the sun returns with temperatures generally in the 30s. So for the most part here, we stay a little below normal temperature-wise coming up over the next week.
Well, at least we get a little bit of sunshine before a messy weekend.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure.
All right, thanks so much, Joe. We do need to take another quick commercial break, but coming up next, we will bring in Sports Director Harrison Beebe. Stay with us. Sports is next. Well, spring break is usually a pretty quiet time for, of course, local sports, especially considering March Madness. The Sweet 16 doesn't pick up again until Thursday. So here we are on Tuesday and wondering, what am I going to watch tonight? No college basketball, no high school sports. Harrison, what's going on in the sports world today?
Sometimes it's okay to just take a couple days to yourself and just cleanse the soul and, get rid of sports. But really, then I'd be out of business. So I don't really want to encourage something like that. We do have a loaded slate if you like March in the D, going off April in the D in a week or so here. We've got the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers all playing games tonight. The Pistons, of course, chasing that big-time spot in an NBA playoff here in a few weeks. They're hosting the San Antonio Spurs at Little Caesars Arena. The Red Wings coming off a pretty big win last night over Utah because they need wins and they need them fast. They're a few points back of the final wild card spot in the Eastern Conference, and the Red Wings that came oh so close a year ago. People want to see them have the chance to compete again. They've been kind of hot and cold now for the past few months, so we'll find out what happens there. 9 o'clock start against the Colorado Avalanche, and then the Tigers can confirm this is the final spring training Tigers game of the season. We are going to start regular season baseball, which I know in itself is a long time, but regular season meaningful baseball games get started this Thursday when the Tigers take on the World Series champion Dodgers in LA, but they'll get one more tune-up against the San Francisco Giants tonight. Who I believe, Maya, you have a history with the San Francisco Giants, correct?
Oh yes, one time when I was filling in for you, I don't know if this is what you're referencing, but I called them the New York Giants, the football team. So that was very fun.
You could say that was your boom goes the dynamite moment, because I know a lot of people are celebrating today as the 20th anniversary of that viral video that hit the YouTubes and the internet. And for those of you who don't know, it was a kid in Ball State who had to fill in on a college broadcast doing a sports segment, and basically very uncomfortable. I had to fill in the last minute, very, very not camera ready, and dropped a couple awkward sentences, but I think the boom goes the dynamite in reference to a three-pointer made in an NBA highlight, I think that got him quite a bit of fame.
So iconic. If you haven't seen the video, just Google Boom Goes the Dynamite. You have to watch it. It's so good. Actually, when I was in college, one of my sports media classes, the teacher showed us this as what not to do. So it's an iconic video. You got to check it out. But Harrison, thanks so much for joining us. We'll be right back after the break.
Salon services are furnished by Epiphany Advanced Academy in East Acme.
Our question of the day today, do you support more big box stores coming to your community? As you can see, 56% say no, 44% say yes. Over on Facebook, Carla says yes, Cadillac needs more options and better prices. Catherine says no, Traverse City has enough. Richard says Sheboygan still would welcome a new Meijer store. William says absolutely, Sault Ste. Marie needs more options. And some people, Brenda says no, no, and no. So I think it really depends on where you live and what you already have in your community. But you can join the conversation on our Facebook page. We are all out of time here on Unscripted. As always, thank you so much for joining us, and we hope to see you back here at 11 o'clock.